Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today's video is the making of this beautiful and simple blouse with bishop sleeve. So if you're interested in learning this, please keep watching this video. So guys, over here I have my pattern paper and I'll be starting with drafting the front pattern, and I'll be marking 2 inches on my pattern paper. Please note that this is not the zipper allowance. These 2 inches I'm marking is because of the overlap at the underbust line, so please take note. After that, I'll go ahead and draw my starting line. So here I have my starting line. I'll move over to marking out my vertical lines. So I have 7.5 inches. I'll be using 7.5 inches for my chest line, 9.5 inches for the bust point, and for the underbust I'll be using 12 inches for the underbust. For the waistline I'll be using 14.5 inches. So this is my client's measurement I'm using to draft this pattern and not mine. So please use your measurements to draft out your pattern. I'm connecting all the dots to make a straight line. And the full length of this blouse will be 18 inches. So I'm marking 18 inches from the starting line. I'll go ahead and divide her shoulder measurement by 2, which is 7.5 inches. And I'll be using 3.5 inches for the neck width. I will also mark the 7.5 inches on the chest line and connect the 2 points together. On that line, I'll go down by 1 inch and connect it to the neck width for the shoulder slant. And whatsoever I have left, I'll divide it by 2, go in by 1/2 inch, and then divide her bust circumference by 4, which is 9.5 inches, and then connect the 3 points together using my French curve like this. Once I'm done with that, I'll go over to label my lines. So here I have my chest line, my bust line, under bust line, waistline, and the full length of this blouse. Now I'll be connecting the neck width to the under bust line. The next thing I'll do is to mark her bust span, which is her nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, and is 3.5 inches. So I'll mark 3.5 inches on the under bust line, the bust line, the waistline, and also at the end of the blouse. And on the waistline I'll mark 1/2 inch on both sides. Do the same thing on the full length, and then connect the lines together. And on the bust line I'll go down by 1 inch and then connect it to the waistline. So guys, the next step is to divide her waist circumference by 4, which is 8.5 inches, and also adding 1 inch for the dart intake, which makes it 9.5 inches. And for the full length line, I will be dividing her hip circumference by 4 and also adding the 1 inch I took out for that, which makes it 12 inches. So I'll be connecting the 2 points together with my ruler and also connecting it down to the end of my pattern paper, because that will serve as my sewing allowance, so that when I'm cutting on my fabric I will just place it and cut. Now on the underbust line, I'm marking 1/4 inch on both sides and connecting it to the waistline. This is to tighten the underbust to give it a very beautiful look. So on the full length line here, I'm using my French curve to connect it to the end of the pattern paper so as to give it a very beautiful look and to avoid any sharp edge. I'm cutting out the underbust line. As you can see, I'll cut it out and also cut out the excesses I have on the side and also at the end of the pattern paper. For this second piece here, I want to cut it out as one piece, so I'm cutting out the dots here. After shading it off, I'm placing one on the other and using my tape to tape the two pieces together to make one piece. And of course, from the underbust down to the end of the blouse, I'll be cutting it on fold. The overlap is just on the underbust line, so from the underbust down to the end of the blouse will be cut on fold. So I'll cut out this pattern. So guys, after cutting out the upper part, this is what it will look like, but we're not done yet because it's an overlap with gather. So I am going to slash and spread this upper part so as to be able to gather it around the underbust. So at this point, I'm marking 1 inch at the shoulder line and making a slant row to the underbust line where I can slash and spread so as to give me that fullness I want at the underbust to be able to gather it to make that pattern. So on that shoulder line, what I have there is 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch, and then use my ruler to make a slant row to the underbust line. Please, while slashing out your pattern, don't slash it out completely, don't cut it out completely, just leave about a 1/4 inch at the top. Don't cut it out completely so that you'll be able to slash the pattern properly. I'm done slashing my pattern and it's time for me to spread it out to give me that gathered effect I want. So I'm just using my tape here to put it in place. I made a starting line on the second pattern paper so as to get the shoulder line correctly. So I will advise you do so. And also at the side, taping the side, and at the armhole. Now I'm going to spread this pattern here. I'll mark 1 inch and then spread. Mark 1 inch again and spread. So let's get back to spreading this pattern. As you can see, I'm taking my measurements 1 inch away and then taping it to the second pattern paper. Now if you notice your pattern paper is bulging at the top, that is the slash and spread pattern, don't bother about it, don't worry about it, it will still come out fine. I'm also going to trace out the shoulder line, the armhole and the side of this slash and spread pattern on the second pattern paper. Now if you notice, I'm adding half an inch to the end of this slash and spread because I'll be joining it to the under bust line together with the other piece. Now I'm just going to cut this out. After cutting it out, this is what it looks like. So I'll be using this together with the second piece for my front pattern. So this here is my front pattern. So guys, let's move over to the back pattern. As you can see, I've drawn out my basic lines: chest line, bust line, under bust, waistline, and also the full length of this blouse. I'm marking her shoulder measurement divided by 2 on the chest line and also on the starting line, connecting the 2 points together just the same way I did for the front pattern. Right here I'm making the armhole and the shoulder slant. For the back neck depth I'm using 1.5 inches, and for the neck width I'm also using 3.5 inches, the same neck width I use for the front pattern. For the back pattern I'm just using this other piece of the front pattern to trace out the side and also connect it to the chest line. That's after dividing her bust circumference by 4. So that is what I marked on the chest line and connected it to the under bust line. So you can see how the front and the back pattern aligns. So that will be all for the drafting of this pattern. I'm cutting out my back pattern here. I did not add that on the back pattern because I'd already taken it out while drafting the front pattern. But if you want to use that on the back pattern, you can just simply add 1 inch for the dart intake. So over here I have the back pattern with the zipper allowance and also the front pattern. I'll keep this aside and work on the sleeve. Now this is my basic sleeve pattern. If you don't know how to draft a basic sleeve, I'll be leaving a link in my description box so that you can watch the video before proceeding with this. For the bishop sleeve, I'll be slashing and spreading this long sleeve pattern. The length of the sleeve is 22 inches, and on the sleeve end I'll mark 1.5 inches and mark another 1.5 inches, and on that point there I will make a slant row to the armhole part of the sleeve. The second line I'll make a slant row to the armhole part of the sleeve. So guys, at this point I'm done cutting my pattern on the actual fabric and also cutting my lining piece together. So this is my sleeve here, and this is the slash and spread method. The difference between each point is 3 inches. As you can see, difference here is 3 inches, 3 by 3 inches, and added half of an inch at the end for my stitching allowance. So this is all for the sleeve, and this piece here is for the belt of this blouse, and the length of it is 26 inches on fold and the width is 5 inches. Now for the front pattern, this is the front pattern here, and as I earlier said that the down part will be cut on fold, while the up part of this front pattern will be an overlap on the underbust line. Will be an overlap, and I cut out 2 pieces for the upper part, one on the left and one on the right. So guys, that's all for the drafting and cutting of this blouse. Please watch out for the sewing tutorial of this simple blouse with bishop sleeve. Thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. I hope it was helpful. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much, and see you in my next video. Bye.